The game is on, playing the long-term game. So for those of you who don't know me that well, just a quick rundown of my background. So I'm a co-owner of clueQuest. We opened in 2013. We're actually the UK's longest running escape room. Thank you. And we operate in a large market. We have 30 competitors who are escape rooms in the city. Interesting fact about that, it used to be 50 a while ago. Now it's 30. And we operate a large team in 2 countries. We have a large venue that you're in, so I'm not going to talk more about that. And we have typical shortlisted games. And London is at this point I would say a very saturated and an educated market. So pretty much almost everyone knows what an escape room is. They either been to an escape room or at least they know what an escape room is. And we have loads of immersive experiences in London. In 2021, I started consulting escape room owners, trying to pass on the knowledge that I gained with clueQuest about marketing and business development and organizational structure. And since then, I've worked around the world. Some of my current and past clients are actually in the room as well, so you can talk to them. Thanks, Javi. I dominantly work in the UK and the US. Right, so is the market actually saturated? Good question. So according to the Escape the Review, that they published this number not so long ago, it seems that the curve has flattened out. So this is net openings, which means that this doesn't mean that escape rooms are not opening in the country, but as many are closing down each year as many are opening. So we have like a flat curve in the country currently. Actually, it's like it was in a slow decline, and we'll see what this year and the next year brings. And then the same applies for the US as well. This was published by the Room Escape artist. Again, the curve has flattened out. Same deal, that as many are opening as closing down in the country. So this really tells us that we've come to the point on the market where escape rooms are not the next big thing. People are not raving about it. It is still a good thing that people do and really enjoy. But we got to revert to different types of marketing and traditional marketing and innovate more with our games and what we do to grow more legs for our companies. So just a little bit about like what the decision-making process is for customers on a saturated market. So this is really a testament to our industry that all escape rooms have 4.8, 4.9, 5.0 reviews on Google and Yelp and TripAdvisor and everywhere, which is great. This really shows like how much we care about our industry and how great of a job we're doing. But the problem is that if you're looking at it from the customer's perspective, it's really hard to tell the escape rooms apart. Okay, so which one is better, 4.8 or 4.9? They're like, okay, they're both great. And to add to the problem, all of us are boasting Traveler's Choice Awards nowadays. So again, a real testament to how great we are at what we do. But from the customer's perspective, it just really makes it difficult for them to tell us apart which one's which. So when you're looking at, like, these are the different things that they're considering when they're booking an escape room. They word of mouth, they talk to their friends, they look at reviews, they look at the price, the location, they look at photos and videos and the description on the website, availability, the overall vibe of the brand. But what this really leaves you with a market like this, where all of us are very similar, unless you have some very distinctive branding elements, is that they're going to look at availability and price. Are you available when I want to play? Is the price right? Yeah, I'm coming. Great. So to fight that, you really need to work on your brand. We're going to talk about that in a bit. With that being said, that the market is saturated, immersive is massively on the rise still. So it's not like immersive is dead or anything. There are more and more immersive experiences are coming on the market. Just look at the level 99s of the US, or Phantom Peak in the UK, or a new experience opening up in Canterbury. Lewis, looking at you. Or you have Activate opening up, or you have the Paddington Bear experience opening up, or Monopoly coming on the market. So we have all these immersive experiences popping up on the market, so it's definitely on the rise, but we're competing for the same customers. And we are not getting more customers at this point because everyone loves immersive, but there is a big selection of stuff you can do. So we really have to, as a decade-old industry, we really have to carve our space out in the market. And this is an interesting thing that you will see, that I've seen around the world, is more and more combined venues are popping up. So people not only want games, they want food, they want drinks, they want it all in one venue so they can enjoy themselves. They don't have to go around to book three different things for a night. They just want to do the same thing in the same place. So you see a lot more places like attaching a tavern to their little castle. So it's all in one venues. So navigating this new landscape, it's very tough because when you look at the immersive landscape, we see more and more niches popping up, and you as an owner trying to figure out which way to take and what to open up next. Is it going to be a 90-minute experience? Do I add a VR game? Do I do outdoor games? What do I do next? So it's really down to you to choose your own path, but I'm going to tell you how you can free up your own time and have a stable core business so you can choose your own adventure for the future. So you can only decide your own path. So you need 3 founding blocks for your escape room to be in complete order to make sure that your mind and your time is free to come up with something new, to look into the future and secure the future of your company. So one is a stable core business. We're going to talk about that a little bit in a jiffy. A self-sustaining staff. Because if you're the one who are still answering all the customer emails, if you're running around doing maintenance, if you are disciplining your staff, you don't have time to think about the future of your company, let me tell you that. And brand recognition is going to be very important on a market where all our ratings are looking very similar. Website pages, like I've seen, I go on, through my consulting work, I go on like hundreds of escape room pages, and sometimes I just see the same template even. And I'm like, is this a different company? And all of us are called escape rooms. All of us have keys in their logos. So, we're making it difficult for customers to tell us apart. So let's talk about a stable core business. I would imagine that most of you in this room are very aware of this, but I'm still going to run through this real quick because I think it's really important. When you think about your product, you might be thinking about your escape room design and the gameplay, but that's not your product. That's not just your product. That's the very core of your product. And the next one, like gameplay and GM interaction is part of your product. The briefing and the debrief is part of your product. The venue and the location, how it smells, how clean your toilets are, what's playing in the background, what colors are the walls. It's all part of your product. And the customer communications, like how your automated emails look, what kind of fonts you even use, that's part of your product. And last but not least, your website and the booking process is absolutely part of your product. Because in the competitive market, you want to make it very easy for people to get through their booking and spend their money with your company. Right, so once you have that and you have this like awesome quality product in the core of everything, you want to make sure that you do quality management, because once your sole focus is not on the core product, you will have the little dragon come in and try to destroy what you've built with your sweat and blood. So, documentation, like document everything. I've worked with too many escape rooms around the globe that they have no documentation of like how to run games, how to maintain things. Please document everything, because when your staff leaving and new staff coming on board, without documentation, you will be the one like passing on that knowledge. If you have documentation, people can actually train each other. They have like a reference point for what they're supposed to do. Regular quality checks, like go in there and check what they're doing, if they're still doing what they're supposed to do. If you don't have documentation, they're going to go rogue. And they're just going to go and do their own thing, which sometimes work out great, but when you have a larger staff, that's where the problems start. Regular maintenance, and by that I'm not just meaning that if once something is broken, go and fix it. Try to be very proactive about it. Try to foresee that something's about to break and fix it and swap it out. Refresher trainings, just because you taught someone something when they were coming on board the company, it doesn't mean they're going to remember that 3 months from now. And with that being said as well, like as your brand evolves and as you are progressing with your company's life, you have new best practices, right? Like you do things slightly differently. So all of that new best practices should go back to your documentation and just, reflect that this is how we do things now. When you have a new starter, they're not picking up any old and bad habits that they're not supposed to. And then lastly, if you want to, you can do mystery shoppers. This is something that we actually haven't done yet, but it is absolutely an option for you. And if you want to, you have companies out there who do mystery shopping, but if you don't want to spend big bucks on it, you just literally recruit some mystery shoppers from your customers. You give them, you do focus interviews with them afterwards, or you give them a long form. This really keeps your staff on their toes to make sure that, it's a double-edged sword, so it's really down to you if you want to do something like this, but it really helps to keep quality top-notch. So we have a stable core business. Now you need self-sustaining staff. And this is, again, something that I've seen too often working with owners around the world, that, you collected all the C-level, your every C-level in your company. And I actually did a poll in the Escape Room Startups group, which is 11,000 owners at this point, and people connected to the industry. But anyway, so almost 100 owners responded to my poll. And then I took everything into a spreadsheet and worked with the numbers because I love a good spreadsheet. And so basically I categorized them into what kind of roles they take on. And the average, let me go up one by one, and you raise your hand if that's how many roles people assume on average. So I'm not even going to start from 1. Let's go from 3. Just put your hand up if you think that, people said that that's how many roles they fulfill in their company. 4? 5? 6? 7? 8? 9? Right. Okay. Right. So the average actually works out to 7. Almost 7 roles that owners say that I'm taking care of these 7 different roles in my company. I'm the designer, I'm the maintenance person, I'm procurement, I'm the HR person, I'm the operations manager, I'm all these different roles. And there's just no way you can do a good job at all of that. Maybe you can do a good job at 2, 3 different roles, but when it goes beyond that, it's just no way you're doing a good job. So definitely some of those roles are suffering from you trying to assume all these different roles. And interestingly, only marketing made it top 3. Business strategy didn't even make it top 3. And you as the owner and the CEO of your company, you should be really thinking about the future of your company. And like, how am I going to be still around for 5 years from now, 10 years from now? That's what you're supposed to do. That's your role in the company, to ensure that your staff has, employment 5 years from now, and you have a business to run 5 years from now. So, delegation and delegation and delegation. Delegate to your staff. And you might be thinking to yourself like, oh, well, Zoli, but I don't have like full-time staff I can like hire to be a marketing person. You don't need that, right? You just have to find the talent in your business. You have to find multi-talented people that you can give like small roles to, so you can try them out. Don't appoint them. That's a mistake that I've seen too often as well. Like, don't appoint people. Recruit internally. Make them go for that job and then interview them. Because if you just appoint someone, you're like, yeah, I like you, I'll give you that role. But if they sign up for the role, there is real intent behind. That they want to get that role. They're really interested in that. And the other thing, a common mistake as well, just because someone likes social media, they don't know how to run social media. So find these multi-talented people and, spread out the responsibilities, delegate, let them fail, let them make mistakes, because that's how they're going to grow and learn and grow into their roles. And just think about their career paths. So when you have these people doing what they're doing and they're good at it, maybe they only do that, they do marketing for you 5 hours a week in the beginning. But that frees up 5 hours from your time that you can think about how can I grow my business and bring in more money and more partnerships and more clientele. So that frees up your time, and then down the line maybe there is more money now in the business, so you can create it into a 20-hour part-time role. And just think about how you can, what are the roles that you need, what are your weaknesses that you need to recruit for, and how can you grow these roles over time into full-time positions. So the last founding block that you need to have a core, a very solid business at its core is a recognizable brand. I actually have a whole talk about this, and I'm going to do on your back of your badges you have a little workshop about this that I'm doing. But basically the main thing about your branding is while you're on your own, it's very easy because you're the brand. If you're writing an email, that's your tone of voice. If you're writing a social media something, if you're picking up the call, it's all you. But once you have people in your business, they need to be on the same page. Because if, Joe answers the phone in one way, and then Sophie answers the phone in a different way, it's going to be scattered. So that's what makes your brand not memorable to people. That's what's going to make it hard for them to recall you. But if everyone's on the same exact page and your emails look the same, the fonts are the same, the structure of the emails are the same, you're working with canned responses, people will have a much easier time to recall you. So you need brand documentation, document everything again. You need canned responses that people can work with. They don't need to reinvent the wheel every time they're responding to the same question for the 100th time. Just have a canned response that has like highlights of like what needs to be changed in that email. Have procedures and flow charts, tone of voice training, people who work with your social media, people who answer emails, who answer calls. They need to know what the brand tone is. Is it quirky? Is it elegant? Is it relaxed? Is it energetic? And yeah, have pre-written scripts. Don't leave people to their own devices. It's your brand. You got to tell them how to represent your brand. So if you have all of this, you have a very stable core business, and that's what will that will free up a lot of your energy and mind power to think about the future of your business. So then you can go and design your own path and decide what you do next, whether that's VR, whether that's a 2-hour experience, whether that's an escape the building type of thing where you hire a whole thing and you do a pop-up, whatever it is. If you do these like founding blocks right, you will have the power to do that because the game is on. We are in the long game of the industry. So choose your path, and I hope you will be successful at it. Thank you.